Slamcast. 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 Welcome. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Slamcast. I'm your host, Greg. Let's get into it, shall we? How y'all doing today? How y'all doing this week? How's your weekend been? Personally, I'm hurting a little bit today. I'm a hurting unit. Went to a wedding last night. Shout out and congratulations to Adam and Christina, the newlywed couple. I'll be talking about that a bit about that later. Into this episode. I actually, full disclosure, I'm kind of going off the fly here. I don't really have a list of anything meaningful to talk about. I have a few things that I came up with today, but over this week I really haven't come up with anything substantial. I guess I'll refer to it as that, at least. Yeah, I don't really have anything good written down here. However, we'll see how this goes. So yeah, I'm not really, I wouldn't say I'm really hungover anymore, but I'm definitely tired and just sort of having a mellow Sunday. And of course, because the wedding was on Saturday, I was not able to record Saturday, so I'm doing another Sunday recording. So hope you're all having a chill, relaxing Sunday. Or whatever day you're listening to this. I guess it doesn't matter at this point. But yeah, a little hungover. Had a lot to drink last night. Was really hurting this morning, but I'm doing okay now. Just like I said, tired. So we'll see how this episode goes. I'd imagine it'll be a pretty short episode. But who knows? I could get into some real hot shit. Anyways, I want to get one thing off of my chest. So one thing I realized I could talk about today. I lost something near and dear to my heart. Over the last 4 months, it was near and dear to me. So close that it was always on my skin. It was always on my face. Hope you guys didn't hear that notification. I was trying to be dramatic about something. It was so close to me. It was stuck on my face for 4 months. For those of you who have seen me within those last 4 months, I'm sure you realize I'm talking about the facial hair that I grew out of sheer boredom. Like most men, I grew my facial hair out of boredom and then decided to keep it because it was there and it was kind of cool at the time. However, with this wedding, happened to line up perfectly with the appointment I got because here's how it went. I got an appointment for a haircut for my sister's wedding, which is in less than 2 weeks now. That's exciting stuff. I'll talk about that when it happens, and I might talk about it next week in terms of anticipation and setting up and getting ready and all that kind of jazz. Anyways, I figured since I had that wedding the same day as my hair appointment, and I knew my hairdresser barber guy, I don't really know what to refer to him as, but he does my hair and he does a great job at it. I follow him on Snapchat and I noticed that he does hot towel shaves as well. Classic barber razor type stuff. You know, the really you all know the ones. You got the really dangerous looking blade that'll cut you if you don't do it right kind of thing, cut you bad. So I was like, screw it, let's go for it. I've had this facial hair for quite a while. I want to get rid of it, but let's go out with a bang. And then also, no major sort of no blemishes or red skin or irritation or anything, assuming he did the job right. But I trust him, and he did. But I'll get into that in a minute. So yeah, I figured I'd shoot him a text and see if he could add a shave onto my already planned haircut, and he did. So that's what went down. That's how it happened. So I got that done. I got that all figured out. I can't remember where I was going with that. Whatever. We'll keep it going. But for those of you, much like myself, who have never experienced a hot towel shave, it is a lovely, lovely experience, in my opinion. Very relaxing, very soothing. A lot of oils on the face and gentle scraping. I guess scraping's the wrong word to use. Oh yeah, this is also something I wanted to mention. For those of you who didn't see me within the last 4 months, or didn't see any pictures or anything on the social medias, I still can't grow a full-fledged beard. So the facial hair that I did have was essentially a mustache and I guess a chin strap. I don't know. Not the entire jawline, but mainly just the chin. Just a lot of hair there. So I basically look like a evil villain version of myself, but not dark hair. It's all blonde. It's almost kind of greenish, grayish, I want to say. Not grayish, but it was, I don't know, it had this weird sort of, I want to say green tinge to it, my facial hair. But yeah, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it because it was a fun thing to have. I don't know when the next time I'm going to grow back that facial hair. We'll see, though. A few people seem to like it. A few people seem to hate it. Most people kind of didn't give a shit. And I'm kind of on the same page. I feel like I probably won't have facial hair for a while just because of the maintenance. I'm pretty lazy. And I feel like I kind of, personally, I think I look better without the facial hair. I don't know. I think that's all preference, though. I think I look fine with or without it, but I think it looks slightly better without it. But I don't know. Once I got rid of it, I was like, oh, my chin is so fat, and my face is so fat. I don't know. Something about especially the chin hairs, because of how thick it had gotten at, once it had really grown in. I don't know. Something about it gave it like slightly more definition to like, I guess my chin, because that's where it was. But I don't know. I noticed once I got it off, like my neck looked fatter. Not in the sense of like actual like fat, but I don't, almost like a buff, muscly sort of neck growth. It was weird. It almost looked as if I looked buffer when I got rid of it, but it also looked weird because I realized my chin just kind of looks like a butt. But not even like a normal butt with a crack, just like a whole one entire butt or one entire cheek. Anyways, I'd never gotten a hot towel shave before. I was pretty excited about that. So I was also kind of nervous though, because all these stories about, this is the blade and it's going to cut you and it's going to get you. But, I had faith in my hairdresser, barber, whatever you want to call him. I did give him a fair warning, though, for those of you that know me. I have a pretty massive Adam's apple, so I gave him a heads up. I said, hey, I have a pretty massive Adam's apple, just a heads up. But he seemed to shaved my neck with no real issues. I didn't feel any pain or anything. Seemed to be delicate around the Adam's apple area, but I think he shaved it pretty well. Got some nice oils on me. Got a nice towel over my face. Blew some hot air in my face. It was a pretty nice experience. It was interesting because of my slight claustrophobia and what recently happened with my MRI experience. when it was happening, of course, I didn't 100% enjoy the towel on my face just because of the claustrophobia, but had a little area for my nose to breathe. So, like, once that was all set up, I was kind of, like, laying back, and I was like, man, I wish MRI could have been like this. Like, this is pretty relaxing. This is all right. No part that got kind of bad for me was when he was blowing hot air. It was, like, going directly where my nose and mouth was. And you know when you get air blowing into your mouth or nose area, and then you're trying to inhale, and, like, you can't breathe because of how fast the air is going, like, into your mouth, which just doesn't even make sense on, like, when you try to explain it. But when it's actually happening, you're like, what's going on? Oh, this air is going too fast and I can't inhale it for some reason. It was kind of like that, but I kind of let him know about that, and he was like, hey, I just want to make you feel comfortable during this whole experience. So he moved it, and I think he tried to make sure that that wouldn't happen again, which I appreciate. But other than that, yeah, it was a smooth experience. And another crazy thing too is, like, as he was, like, shaving it off, I guess I should have expected this, but, like, I had some pretty thick hairs on my face, but, like, he was getting them off with, like, little swoops. Like, it's not like he was, like, trimming it down. It was, like, all off with, like, each swipe. It was just off, making little noises. Off. So you guys can be part of the experience. The experience of me explaining you my experience. So yeah, I got that off, and I got a wicked haircut. So I was like, I'm ready for this wedding. I'm ready to watch two people become happily married. I was ready. And then I was ready, so I went. I don't know why I built that up. I built it up like it was, like, not going to happen or something. But yeah, it was a fun wedding, fun time. Weddings are always a fun time. They're basically like giant parties. And there's, like, a total legit reason to celebrate. So it's pretty awesome. And it's just interesting to see, because I'm still at that age where nobody I know is getting, well, I had to think about that for a second. Don't want to offend anybody. Well, I guess my sister's getting married, but I mean, nobody that I grew up with is getting married. I'm still not at that age yet, probably in 5 years or something like that. But it's kind of interesting because you get to see this sort of, and I'm kind of excited for it too when I get invited to, like, a friend's wedding or something. But there's this weird sort of vibe that, like, I don't know if it's a vibe, but it's just sort of all these friends and people that you haven't seen in a while, and you all get together and just, like, party and hang out and catch up and all this stuff. And it's a pretty interesting aspect that I noticed this wedding as opposed to all the other weddings I've been to. And it's just kind of interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see that at my sister's wedding and future weddings that I go to, especially ones where I'll be a part of the whole sort of, I guess, celebration of, I don't know, is celebration the right word? But, you know, meeting up with people that you, like, a huge group of people that you haven't seen in a long time. And it's like, hey, long time no see, everybody. Because that's exactly what I'd say, and I would sound extremely bored and unenthusiastic about the whole thing. Oh, hey, guys, I'm glad you're all here for this wedding. Isn't it great? I'm fun at parties. Don't even worry about it. Speaking of which, I hit up that dance floor. I hit it hard, and I ripped it up. And now that I think about it, there are a lot of terms in regards to dancing well, and they all involve destroying the area where you dance in some way. I destroyed the dance floor. I tore up the dance floor. I killed it on the dance floor. That one doesn't involve destruction of the dance floor itself, but it involves some form of destruction. Which, now that I think about it, it's actually pretty hilarious and also kind of awesome. Because that's what I did. I killed it. I tore it up. I destroyed it. I hit it, etc. I enjoy dancing. Dancing's fun. I got a nice rhythm. I feel like the 5-6 years that I spent drumming definitely helped with that. But I feel like even if I didn't have that major 4-way coordination and rhythm type skills, I think I'd still be a pretty good dancer. Not as good, definitely, but still decent enough. So, if you ever want to become a good dancer, spend 5 years playing the drums. That's my advice to all of you out there right now. Write it down. 5 years, no more, no less. If you do any more, you're just too rhythmic and too coordinated, and then you just can't dance anymore because nobody want to dance with you because you're too good of a dancer. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's got to be 5 or 6 years. You can't do any more, though. And you can't do any less because then you don't have enough rhythm or coordination. It's just a fact. It's just a fact at this point. I'm not even lying. It's true. Sorry for that goofy tangent. But yeah, and then the drinking happened, and then the dancing got a little sloppier, and the words got a little sloppier, and I convinced my mother, who's with me at this wedding, along with my sister and her fiance, soon-to-be future husband, and a friend of ours. My mother was sober, just to be clear, but just to be clear. So on the drive home, I convinced them all that we should go to Denny's, because there was a 24-hour Denny's on the way not even on the way. We kind of went out of our way to go to it. And I was convinced that there was some form of a drive-through, even though now that I think about it, I don't think any Denny's would ever have any sort of drive-through. Maybe a takeout area, but never a drive-through. But I knew for a fact it was 24 hours. And then we rolled up, and then we realized there's no drive-through at all. And nobody else wanted to go into Denny's except me. And that's basically just because I was starving and I wanted food because I was pretty hammered. So we ended up skipping on the Denny's and just getting McDonald's instead, which I'd say is a pretty decent consolation prize. But it's funny, too, because when I thought about it this morning, I haven't been to a Denny's in years, because in Canada, there are barely any Denny's anywhere, ever. And I remember last night not even knowing what I wanted to eat from Denny's. Maybe pancakes. I think they do but I don't even know if they do all day breakfast. I think they do all day breakfast. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not gonna look it up right now. It's not worth my time. Next time I'm in Denny's, I'm just gonna order it. I'm not even gonna look at the menu. No, I'll look at the menu, but I'll surprise myself. I'll look at the menu and find out, do they have all day breakfast? But they probably do. But yeah, I had no idea what I even wanted from Denny's. If we had actually sat down there, I would have just been staring at the menu for like 5 minutes being like, this all looks good. I'll order everything, please. So maybe it's a good thing we know go to Denny's. One of these days I'll go to Denny's again. And I'll let you all know about it. And how amazing it was. Anyways. Where was I? Well, what do you mean, where was I? I was done with that conversation. On to the next vocal piece. What else was I going to talk about? Shit. There was a second thing. I talked about the wedding. And I talked about getting my mustache and chin, my facial hair removed from my face for a time. So yeah, I did talk about everything. Or the two main points that I wanted to talk about. So I'm just gonna end this off. Wow. This is no, I gotta stop saying that. This is possibly the shortest episode. This is possibly the longest episode. Doesn't even matter. Y'all came here to listen. You're gonna listen. Again, trying to keep up with it, so I have more weekly recommendations. I mentioned last week the new Radiohead album dropped. It was last Sunday it dropped. I've given it a few listens. I would recommend it. However, I would highly recommend it to Radiohead fans as opposed to just people in general. Because I would definitely, and I feel like most people who've listened to it would agree that their latest Radiohead album, which is called, I believe, A Moon-Shaped Pool, it's not an entry point for Radiohead by any means. It's very relaxed sort of album. Well, however, a lot of the songs are very layered and very deep, but it's also a very depressing album. And I'm not saying that at all in a bad way. It's very sort of deep and dark, but it by any means it is not a entry point album. If you are looking for an entry point album for Radiohead, I would consider something like, I want to say The Bends or OK Computer or In Rainbows or Hail to the Thief. I want to say those are all pretty good entry point. I'm not sure about Hail to the Thief and In Rainbows. I think so, though. I think so. That's my opinion. What's yours? Let me know. Give me a heads up. Say, hey, Greg. No, it's not a good entry point album, idiot. And I'll go, all right, thanks. Could have been a little politer about that one, but yeah, it's okay. A few more recommendations. Uncharted 4 came out this week. And Doom came out this Friday. Uncharted 4, I've put quite a few hours in this week. Really digging it. Really liking the story. Would definitely recommend for anybody who's a fan of the Uncharted series. And for any of you that have a PS4 and have considered checking out the Uncharted series, I would highly recommend you do that. Definitely not by starting with Uncharted 4. Definitely just buy. I know they have a trilogy PS4 edition that you can get for the first 3. And the new Doom, which I've wanted to play all weekend and only just got to play today, which is, now I think about it, kind of hilarious. I pre-ordered it specifically so that I could preload it the night before it was supposed to come out. So then Friday I would have it ready on my computer after I would come home from work. I forgot to preload it. Came home from work and thought, my internet's pretty fast. I think it'll get done while I'm still up. I stay up pretty late on weekends. So I start it, let's say 5:30. I probably started the download. Didn't realize the game, and I should have realized the game is like 41 gigs large. So Steam started telling me that it was going to take like, I want to say like 9 hours or 7 hours to download. So I was like, shit. And literally by the time I was going to go to bed, it said it had like 45 minutes left on the download. And I was like, shit. So I let that run. Saturday was the wedding, so I didn't get a chance at all to play it, which I'm not going to complain about that because it was a fun wedding. But, I was kind of just back in my head, I was like, I could be playing Doom right now. I could be shooting demons on Mars. For those of you that don't know, Doom is a video game series that started back in the early to mid 90s, and it sort of revolutionized the first person shooter genre. I'll get more into that in a second. But yeah, finally got to play it for a few hours today. And the funny thing is I'm so tired from this hangover that while I was playing it, I was like, this is too much right now. I kind of want to stop playing it. But then I kept playing it and I was like, kind of again tired. So like the whole reason I stopped playing today was just because I was like, I'm too mentally exhausted to be focused on running around super fast and shooting demons in the face on Mars, because I'm Space Marine guy and I got big guns and I shoot you in the face with them. Which is pretty funny now that I think about it. So, but I definitely recommend it to anybody who's into the first person genre. It's a nice fast shooter, and those are the kind of shooters I like. fast shooters. And a lot of people complained about the multiplayer when there was an open beta a few months ago. And I can kind of see the complaints. I enjoyed the multiplayer for what it was, and I'm sure I'll still enjoy it. I don't know if I'll put that many hours into it, especially after playing Overwatch. I feel like that'll be my multiplayer shooter game. However, the single player is just bonkers. Like, the level design's great. The movement's great. It's fluid. It's quick. It snaps. Everything about it's gruesome, but in this, like, awesome sort of just, like, adrenaline pumping way where you're like, yeah, more, do it again, kind of thing. So I've really been enjoying it. I'm definitely going to keep playing the shit out of it. Fun stuff. So yeah, I really like fast shooters, and I've kind of realized there's 3 quick shooters that I've really enjoyed over the last few years. Wolfenstein: The New Order, which is kind of like a Wolfenstein remake, much like how this is sort of a Doom remake. This Doom, and Shadow War, which also, wow, these are all kind of just remakes, aren't they? But good kind of remakes. I know when people hear remake, especially with movies nowadays, there are a lot of remakes that are very bad for whatever reason. But with these video games, they're all remakes of, and there have been sequels to these games and stuff too. It's not like these are the only new versions of these games that have ever come out, but they're all remakes of classic 90s shooters that were all very quick and quite difficult and very quick speed movement and that kind of stuff. So all of these games are kind of a modern version of that. So just all quick movements, shooting and bang, 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 and blowing up stuff and getting your adrenaline pumping and getting your heart racing and all that good stuff. But one thing that I've kind of noticed is they're all fast shooters, but they're all fast in their own regard from what I've noticed. I can't pinpoint exactly, but Wolfenstein: The New Order, the new Shadow Warrior, and the new Doom all are fast and speedy, but for their own reasons. Wolfenstein is very much about like dual wielding and being able to lean around corners and sliding and that kind of stuff. And Shadow Warrior is very much switching between weapons quickly and using your arsenal to your advantage, while also a lot of sick sword play and quickly punching in sort of codes on your controller to do different sort of I don't know, there were like energy abilities to like heal yourself or do a devastating sword blow. And then with this Doom, it's traversing around the level design while at the same time blasting demons while you go by them, while also meleeing them so they ooze out health pickups and ammo pickups, and using your chainsaw so that ammo just spills out of them, and then always kind of keeping your distance sometimes, but also still needing to get up in their face so that you can get health back if you're low on it or get ammo or whatever. All these different reasons, and all these games are really awesome. So you know what? I'm going to recommend all 3 of them because that's all I've been talking about for the last like 5 minutes. So I'm going to say that again. If you want quick, awesome shooters, Wolfenstein: The New Order, the new Shadow Warrior remake, and they're making Shadow Warrior 2, which is releasing, I believe, in a few months. They haven't given an official release date yet, but I'm super excited for that. And the new Doom, which just came out this Friday. Highly recommend all of those. And I want to say those are all my recommendations for this week that I can think of. Hopefully I have a few good ones. Kind of glad I added this segment. Allows me to sort of dive into it. Also, I'm recommending the Doom remake, but I would also recommend the original Doom. Get it on goodoldgames.com. That game still holds up extremely well as long as you can change it around so that the controls are very similar to modern day controls. But yeah, that's all I really want to talk about today. Whoa, I made it to half an hour, guys. Woo! Woo! We did it! We did it, guys, and I just clipped the shit out of the audio, so I'm sorry if I just blew all your ears out. I'm going to end it on that high note. Hope you all have a great week. Hope you all have a great day, etc., etc. Outro, Greg. Take us out. Well, folks, that's all we have for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you'll join us next week for whatever crazy shit we talk about. Until next time, have a good one.